Kit ambushed by shocking Coronation Street character in explosive confrontation, and it's not Mick. Tensions on Coronation Street are set to escalate even further as Kit Green finds himself at the center of another violent altercation, but this time the assailant isn't who viewers might expect. Kit has recently been embroiled in a heated and deeply personal conflict with Mick Michaelis, a figure from his past who made a dramatic entrance onto the cobbles. The two share a turbulent history, having once been close friends during their youth. However, their bond was shattered when Kit committed a crime and fled the scene, leaving Mick behind to take the fall. Kit's reckless actions included setting off fireworks inside a local shop before fleeing the scene, which led to Mick being apprehended by the authorities. While Mick ended up serving time behind bars, Kit moved on with his life, and ironically, joined the police force. Ever since their paths crossed again, the air between them has been thick with animosity. Their strained relationship was further complicated when Mick discovered that his supposed son, Mick Michaelis, was in fact Kit's biological child. This revelation came to light after Leanne Michaelis, Mick's partner at the time, began a secret relationship with Kit while Mick was incarcerated. In upcoming episodes airing next week, Brody becomes increasingly distressed after receiving a message from Mick, who is still in prison. Upon returning home, Kit is stunned to find his flat in complete disarray, with Brody furiously destroying the place. The teenager, overcome with emotion, confronts Kit with the explosive claim that Mick has assured him of his innocence, insisting that the murder charge against him is the result of a corrupt police setup. While viewers are well aware that Mick did in fact kill Craig Tinker in a brutal baseball bat assault, Brody is clearly convinced by his father's manipulative lies and turns his rage toward Kit. A newly released spoiler clip shows Brody confronting Kit, passionately defending Mick and declaring that the real criminals are wearing badges, not sitting in prison cells. Kit tries to remain calm, attempting to reason with Brody by pointing out that solid evidence proves Mick was behind Craig's murder. He pleads with him to see that Mick is dangerous and manipulative. However, Kit's words only enrage Brody further. In a sudden outburst, Brody charges at him and violently slams him against the wall in a moment of pure fury. Just as the situation threatens to spiral completely out of control, Bernie Winter and Sarah Platt burst in, halting the assault. Seizing the opportunity, Brody flees the scene, hastily pulling his hoodie over his head to conceal his identity as he disappears into the night. Daniel Brocklebank's shock Coronation Street exit sparks backlash. Partner calls it a huge mistake. In a move that has rocked the Coronation Street community, longtime cast member Daniel Brocklebank has announced his departure from the iconic ITV soap after portraying Vicar Billy Mayhew for over 11 years. The news has been met with widespread surprise and heartfelt reactions from fans, co-stars, and Brocklebank's partner, who has openly condemned the decision. A staple on the cobbles since 2014. Since joining Coronation Street in 2014, Daniel Brocklebank has become one of the show's most enduring and beloved faces. His character, Billy Mayhew, was introduced as the local vicar, a man of faith with a complicated past and a heart full of compassion. Over the years, Billy's storylines have spanned love, loss, addiction, grief, and redemption, with Brocklebank consistently praised for his nuanced performances. Whether wrestling with the death of his ex-boyfriend or navigating his tumultuous relationship with Paul Foreman, whose motor neuron disease, MND diagnosis became one of the show's most powerful story arcs, Billy has evolved into one of Weatherfield's most emotionally resonant characters. A departure shrouded in mystery. News of Brocklebank's departure was confirmed by The Mirror, with the actor revealing that he will be exiting the show sometime next year. What's caught fans off guard, however, is the suggestion that the decision was not entirely his own. In a heartfelt public statement, Brocklebank reflected on his time on the street. "I have been working on Coronation Street for a quarter of my life. I have adored every minute I have been in that building and have never not looked forward to going into work. I love everyone who works on this show, And while I am sad to be going, I am equally excited to see what the future holds. While his tone remained gracious and nostalgic, subtle hints within his statement suggested that the choice to leave may have been made by the show's producers. Partner Slam's exit is heartbreaking. The strongest response came from Brocklebank's partner, musician Jordan Coulthard, who did not mince words when expressing his disapproval. Posting to social media shortly after the news broke, Coulthard wrote, "Not his decision. Huge mistake. I can't even believe we are having this conversation. No words can describe how heartbroken I am for him." Coulthard's comments have added fuel to the growing belief among fans that the actor's exit was not voluntary and may instead be the result of a creative decision made by Coronation Street showrunners. Corrie Boss confirms major storyline ahead. Executive producer Kate Brooks has since confirmed that Billy will be at the center of a major upcoming storyline, one that will ultimately lead to his departure. Speaking to The Mirror, Brooks said, "Billy will be involved in a major storyline over the coming months, which will see him tested in ways he never imagined, as friendships and his faith are pushed to the limit. We're incredibly sad to bid farewell to Dan, who has been fantastic in some of Corrie's biggest storylines over the past few years." She went on to praise Brocklebank not only as an actor of immeasurable talent and skill, but as a warm, positive presence on set whose absence will be deeply felt by the entire cast and crew. Unanswered questions about Billy's fate. What remains unclear is exactly how Billy will leave the street. Will the storyline end in tragedy, or will the character be given a chance to start a new chapter elsewhere? Fans are already speculating whether the Vicar will be killed off, given the show's recent pattern of high-drama exits. Brocklebank's departure joins a string of recent cast changes, raising eyebrows among longtime viewers. This week alone saw the dramatic and violent end of Craig Tinker, played by Coulson Smith for 14 years. His character was murdered by Mick Michaelis, who himself is set to exit the show later this summer. Mick's wife, Lou, a recent addition to the cast, is also reportedly on her way out. Other notable departures include Charlotte Jordan, who recently wrapped up her role as Daisy Midgley, and Sue Devaney's Debbie Webster, whose character will be written out following a dementia diagnosis. Social media controversy and public persona. Daniel Brocklebank's social media presence has also come under scrutiny in recent years, with the actor previously sharing controversial views, including conspiracy theories about government weather control and aircraft spraying chemicals. These posts have since been deleted, and the actor's X, formerly Twitter, account is no longer active. It is not known whether this public image had any bearing on the decision surrounding his exit. An end of an era. With more than a decade of impactful storytelling behind him, Daniel Brocklebank's exit marks the end of a significant era for Coronation Street. As fans prepare for Billy's final arc, many are reflecting on how much the character has meant to them and what his loss will mean for the show going forward. Whatever the storyline may be, one thing is certain: Billy Mayhew's departure will leave an emotional void in Weatherfield, and Daniel Brocklebank's performance will be remembered as one of the most heartfelt in Corrie history.